Hello and welcome back to another guide from Dota Roller Coaster. I'm still nervous when I took the camera because actually there's an audience hearing me out. Anyway, my name is Jeff. I realized that I haven't actually told that in the previous Crystal Maiden guide. So as I said, I'm gonna do daily, hopefully daily guides. And today we are gonna have Lion. So without losing time, let's jump into that.
Moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster.
To start off the guide, we actually, like the previous guide, we need to understand fundamentally what is Lion all about, right? And in the previous example, in the Crystal Maiden, we said that it is always an aggressive support. Crystal Maiden loves aggression. She doesn't love to play from behind. That's why you usually get all these mangoes and all this regen, and you don't really go for windlays. So unlike Crystal Maiden, Lion is somewhere between defensive and offensive. It's a really solid support, not strong. I want to say solid. That means you won't have a bad laning stage, but you will never actually stomp the lane as well. You're as strong as your lane partner. For example, if you have something like a troll, something like an Ursa, that's really good. But if you have something like Morphling, something like Turblade, probably you will not stomp the lane, but you have other spells that will allow you to play defensive, right? So usually you get level 1 stun and level 2 mana drain. Now, there are some Chinese teams in the past that if you play post for Lion, they go for Air Spike, Hex, Air Spike. Then you have to play a little bit like Crystal Maiden. We have a lot of mangoes, so you can force a kill. What I suggest though is to go for the Air Spike level 1, mana drain level 2, and constantly mana drain, stun, and mana drain everyone. And then if you have kill potential, level 3 you go Air Spike. And if you want to play more defensive, level 3 you go mana drain. And now if you think like, for example, this lane, I have a Brewmaster and I have a Snapfire, right? I think it's Snapfire or I can't recall it, Grimstroke. Anyway, both of these heroes, all these 3 heroes are quite useless without mana. On top of that, I have a Void, not the most aggressive laner. Usually Void wins a lane by trading really good and then just, trying to out-regen the opponents. And if they're like low enough, you might actually find a kill if you're lucky with the bases. So it makes a lot of sense to constantly stun the Brewmaster, sack his mana, and also try to sack the mana away from Grimstroke or away from Snapfire, depends on what I have. So, starting the lane, like the previous, if you haven't seen the previous guide, you can see the link below. What we do, I actually got the ward. It's something I don't suggest. And because when you get the ward, usually the position 4 cries or, it's like a little bit whiny, where's my ward, why I don't have a ward, when in reality they might not need it. Okay, and as I told you like previous time, I would like to place a lane ward here to see what's going on, right? To see who moves out, and so on. But I feel like with a hero like Lion, this is also another spot that you can place it, especially if you have something like an Earth Spirit, something like Weaver, something like Clockwork, something that generally is going to move around the map. So you want the best indicator to see where he's going. Perfect. Okay, moving forward. Block the camp, really important, right? And also use the ward here, just because they might have a ward here, an observer. Okay, and we get to see them. I also have told you that we don't really want to contest bounties, right? Maybe you have something like an Ursa, something like a Juggernaut, something among these lines that would be really good. Okay, so we don't really contest, and let's go back to the lane. Something that I really want to mention is that, just like in the previous guide with the Crystal Maiden, we said that Crystal Maiden is quite sacrificial. Why is that? Because in order for her to win the lane, she needs a lot of mana. And mana, if you see here, just costs way more than health. It's quite simple, right? This is why Trend Protector, Bane, Elder Titan, all these heroes are, usually lane dominators, because they usually trade without their mana. They usually use their health, and health is just way much cheaper than actually the mana. So in the similar mindset, while Lion is not a lane dominator because he doesn't have a lot of damage, he doesn't need actually mangoes because he has a mana drain. So I can use all this gold that I would otherwise waste on mana, mangoes, cards, so on, to actually buy items for myself. So getting out of the laning stage, I'm gonna have items. This is why Lion is really good. And also, we're gonna get back into that later on, but Lion is a hero that maybe he doesn't have the strongest laning stage, but he compensates that with a really solid, good middle game, right? He's really strong in the mid game, solid hex, solid stun, really good nuke, really good hero overall. Highly suggested in the lower MMR games. It's a hero that we don't really see in the higher MMR, and in lower MMR it gets banned a lot until Ancient, until Divine. In the upper bracket, it's not getting banned a lot. It is not a hero to be feared. He's just a really solid hero that's good. If you compare him with other heroes that's really strong in the mid game, Grimstroke, Willow, he has way stronger laning states, and he does not depend on his ally. If you have an offensive support, an offensive carry, you can play offensive, going more levels on stun. If you have a defensive like Morphling, Turtlebait, Spec, Void, you play on the defensive side. So the lane starts, and what do we do generally? What we want to do is get level 2 before them, maybe force things. Void level 2 is really strong. Lion is not bad if you decide going for the Hex, but even if you're like level 2 and you're level 1, you can just stand mana drain. It's just really good. And what I realized, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna trade with this guy. Didn't really work out, and that was a mistake for me. Let's go back a little bit, because what I should have done is like secure this range grip, okay? So the moment I realized I can't trade with this guy, I'm like, fuck it. If you don't trade with the other support well, what do? Focus on the position 3, okay? And this is what I actually do. I just, try to right-click as many right-clicks as possible and get the most out of the position 3. Once I'm level 2, I will actually try to maybe screw up with this, what's his name? Snapfire, and try to drag his mana. Also, let's go back a little bit. This is already a lane that I understand is gonna take a lot of health from me, so one set of tangos is definitely gonna be quite useful. From there, we just try to get our level 2, securing the range grip, or at least trying to. The camp is blocked, dewarding. Really important to deward the camp. That's why you need 2 sentries, one to block their opponent's camp and one to deward yours. And at this point, what we want to do is get level 2, right? And then you constantly do the same concept. You try to use as many mana drains as possible and use stun off cooldown. And let's go back. Let's go back a little bit to see that. In my items, you saw that I brought a Fairy Fire, because what does Lion do? Stun and get multiple right clicks on top of him. So the main source of damage from Lion is actually right clicking. So Fairy Fire plus the damage, and in case I need a little bit more health, it's really, really useful. You see how Fairy Fire actually saved me? And we're fine. But what do I need right now is more, and like probably more regen. Okay? Now, why do I mana drain this the range grip? Because I'm in need of a lot of mana. If I mana drain the opponents right now, I will not get a lot of mana, because they're just gonna go back, disengage from the channeling spell. But I need right now mana to work with, right? So I'm like, a full duration is really great. And what do we do right now? Try to like kinda bring the lane equilibrium back a little bit, right? You see how it is all fixed, and remember, this is like the safe lane, like the safe lane, like the safe area to farm. This like, we don't want the lane to be here. So what do? Stun and suck again and again and again. When these heroes are out of mana, my Void can really farm. Okay, the lane. Do you see how the lane? How the lane is not here? What do I need to do next? Is probably go and stack. All of a sudden, the laning stage is here, and we are fine. But what happened in the game, I'm gonna come back later, is that my Void wanted to be literally under tower, because he felt like he couldn't actually last it. Okay, so he says, can you just please pull? Like, why? How much safer can we be from this area? And he just didn't like that. I feel like this guy has no mana, this guy has no mana, so level 2 mana drain. So you see how if he has no mana, he's just not a threat. And all of a sudden, I felt like, you know what, we have a really good lane. It's not a lane that we're going to win. It's a lane that I'm going to have a Lion, I'm going to have a Void. They have a Snapfire Brewmaster, really hard combo. They should, in theory, destroy us. And not only we're surviving, but we're just doing really well. This is a definition of a one lane. A one lane, a lane that you're supposed to win, and you don't win, it's a lost lane. right? That's why when you have Mars Snapfire, for example, versus Draw Ranger, I don't know, Crystal Maiden, which is supposed to go hard on them and you just lose it, then it's like way worse than you expect. Stacking mana, and my Void says, you know what, I just can't play right now. While in CS wise, we're doing really good. Pulling, nothing to say here, and doesn't matter if you want to pull, half pull, single pull. At this point, just pull, so the lane is gonna be even like under tower. Okay. I'm like, and this is like really bad for me. It's really bad for me, and I actually didn't feel like I will just get caught here. Like, this mana drain was just too cocky. I should just probably run. Okay, that's the truth. I should probably run. What I understand though is that my lane ward also expired, so I should have seen it coming. So I might need another ward as well. So immediately getting the ward, always have a ward. It's really important, especially when you get to play versus Queen of Pains, any Spirit, Wind Ranger, Hack. You need to have some kind of lane ward or some kind of jungle ward to see the rotations coming. Really important. Going back to the lane, what do? Guess what? Always have a salt for my carry and keep mana draining them, right? So you see, this guy has almost no mana. Let's move on. Who do I need to focus more? I need to actually sack mana from Brewmaster, because he's the main source of damage, actually. Not Snapfire, right? Brewmaster is a hero that if he doesn't have follow-up, they will not actually commit in the very first place. And again, suck. I know they don't have Cookie and the disengage. And look at that. The beauty of having a hero like Lion that doesn't depend on having mana, you know, with Mangoes and Clarities, is that all of a sudden I'm 0-1-0. And what happens is that I already have the Tranquil Boot, okay? Last advice on how to play Lion on the lane is, and this applies actually not on Lion, on any support, make sure that you will go for jungle items at 7 minutes in. And I really want to stretch this out. You see how I just even right-click it as fast as possible? You know, I just need one jungle item because the laning stage is not over. You see how they keep coming and my Void is still on the lane, so it's not a one lane, it's not a lost lane, but as long as the lane keeps going on, I need to be here. 7 minutes in, there's still a laning stage going on, and I can take advantage of jungle items, right? Sadly, we didn't get jungle items. Lastly, I go for Windlace. From every support, Tranquil Boots, Wand, Windlace. And now I get Windlace instead of a stick, for example, because I feel like I need to have a lot of movement speed to go in and go out. What do? Look at that. Snapfire is mid lane. And how do we win lanes? 2v1 scenario. Whenever you have two heroes and there is only one, you just go and force sync instantly. Right? My Void is level 6 and we actually get the kill here, right? It's really important to see whenever someone is not there, you just need to always try to force your opponent, unless it's some kind of really fed Necrophos. Lastly, 2-1-2 build all the time on Lion. It doesn't matter the order, maybe you go 2-1-1 and then you go level 2 mana drain, but you need to have level 2 mana drain, otherwise you have some serious mana issues, okay? Now, level 5, you see how no one is top? No one is top. So, okay, I can finally move on, play with my mid laner. Yes, I have an off lane Ursa and the mid lane Jakiro. So what happens here is, I'm trying to find a kill, doesn't work out. Trying to get a tower. I get to my level 6, right? I die here, it doesn't matter. And what I want to say with Lion is that once you have level 6, you should actually do what? Make a solo play. Unlike Crystal Maiden and Leech, if you're like Bane and Lion can make a solo play. Okay, so what do I need to do? And this guy going through the mid game, but I care about the laning stage in this channel at first for now, is you usually want to take this tower and enable this farming pattern, okay? Enable this. Once you get this tower, then you can actually move. But for now, solo smoke and try to do anything with this finger, okay? We smoke and we just try to find someone. Food for thought. That's the first out of the 3 matches that we're gonna see. It is a really fine, aka solid laning. You see the net worths Turned out to be really good. We have a Brewmaster Snapfire versus Lion Void. Like Lion Void, not the greatest type of heroes, that they coordinate. So what do? Play defensive. Void doesn't really have a power spike, so the more level he has, the better for us as like Spectre, Blade, and Morphling. So maybe it's level 6 power spike, but usually Void scales with items rather than with levels. So we play defensive, sack out of their mana so they're not a threat for my Void, make sure Void is under tower all the time, and get XP, get level 6, and from there the middle game is all yours. That's it. Going to the second game, which is a little bit more interesting. Game number 2, going again how to play support as a Lion. That's a little bit more interesting as a matchup. You see that the layout, the items, the starting items are usually the same. With a hero, it's a little bit like no-brainer. There are of course exceptions like Bristlebacks and anything spammy. You can go with the stick. I prefer the Windlace so I can disengage and have this back and forth stun and use mana drain all the time to be annoying. Okay. Now let's break down the side lane, right? So I have a Lion and it is with a Juggernaut. Okay. The reason why he picks Juggernaut is because we have first pick Phoenix. It makes a lot of sense. We need the hero that's gonna be really good with the egg because we don't really have an answer. And unpause. Thank you. And so what's my job here? Usually when you trade good with the enemy post 4, you kind of want to do that, all right? And you usually aim for the level 2 power spike. But as we said in the previous guide, like you don't really have a level 2 power spike. Not only as a Lion, you can go again with Hex, but as a Juggernaut. So you maybe want to force them level 1. Okay, keep that in your mind. Of course, previous game, we didn't contest the rune. Right now, we do contest because guess what? I have a really strong hero for me to play with. And why do we hide here? A little bit food for thought as well. Why do we hide here? NS, super night vision. Look at this night vision. So we are just hiding here and we're just gonna appear last minute. Everything needs, to go through your mind when you're into that. So we're just hiding. And of course, we get some really, really sweet trade in the beginning. A reminder that the position 5 does not kill. Our goal as post 5, unless you have this Grimstroke type of thing like Grimstroke House Knight, our goal is not to kill, is to slowly build up the damage and then go for the finishing shot. Okay? Now, Phoenix. Phoenix is the type of hero that's really strong in the lane journal, right? But can you trade good with him? Yes, because he doesn't have big range, attack range, compared to the Lion. He's quite slow as a hero, and on top of that, he has almost no armor. Also, the animation is weird, so I can get more right clicks on top of him. So, what do we do right now? Check here for the camp, right? I feel like sometimes I just do that prematurely, just because I expect players to instantly block it. And probably that's my mistake. What I suggest is maybe wait to see if it's going to be blocked, right? The first minute, but sometimes I'm a little bit rusty and I want to take advantage of the first pull as well. So what do? Stun and constantly get right clicks off all the time. And then look at that. I really want to mention that. Do you see how this guy is going this way? And all of a sudden, this guy's alone. Right? And okay, maybe we just focus this guy all of a sudden. A couple of right clicks. Again, every right click matters. I'm under tower. I'm trying to trade. I really want to absorb all the damage from this Phoenix, so I don't want him to actually spirit my post 1 Juggernaut because he will actually miss last hit. Okay? And now we're just building this up. You see, I'm like, can we go? And we're just going south here. And we're just getting the first blood. Do not hesitate to use south if you feel like you're gonna get alive. That was really good for us. And what do you think I should do right now? I actually hit the tango. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna switch out. No one's gonna take the XP. Really good. And again, what do I need? More regen, right? Because the lane state is not over. It is not won, right? Don't forget that we play with an NS. NS has a minute 5 power spike. So we actually need to make sure that we'll either stomp the lane by then or be prepared to fight and get the most until then, where, things are a little bit harder. Get level 2 right now. And if you see, I don't actually skill spell yet. I see that there's a level 1 Phoenix. What does level 1 Phoenix means? No dive yet. That means maybe if I skill Hex, I can actually get to kill him. So I'm like, can we just kill him? And you see how I just play around him? I really want him, I really force him out and tell him, hey, can we just do something about that? Sadly, he got level 2, and the moment he gets level 2, probably that's not gonna happen, right? So the moment he gets level 2, I'm gonna, okay, fuck it, mana drain. I'm gonna suck all your mana, okay? And what do we do right now? Pull. Single pull. Why? Nothing better to do right now. You can also single pull, right? If you feel like your position 1 can actually last it under tower. I have a Juggernaut. It's not like I have a draw ranger, so I'm not really screwed up with him. And what do? I feel like at some point I die here, but that's not important. What I need to do is play, like, get my level 3. That's why I'm getting closer. And maybe with level 3, because I have a level 3 power spike, because I have level 2 stun, which is like more damage, and my Juggernaut is also level 3, so we might as well just force something. And I'm not actually threatened here because I kind of bait them. Fairy Fire, you can buy Fairy Fire with the first ship with the mangoes. Sorry, with the first sip of the courier, you can just bring a Fairy Fire. I still bait them here, right? At this point, we just play a little bit defensive because we don't really have a lot to work with. I went a little bit greedy and just didn't buy salve. But again, one set of tangos constantly sipping more written, but not mangoes. That's why when I get out of the lane stage, I'm gonna say that 100 times, when I get out of the lane stage, at least I'm gonna have something to work with. We get the kill here, really beautiful, and I really I really want to show that again, because if you think that, oh, okay, we just stun and we just, spin, yeah, it's that, but you still have to build it up, right? If you see like his perspective, it's a 700 HP, it takes more than that. It needs a lot of right clicks. It's a fast hero, by the way, and you can see all his moves, like, you don't build it, like, you need to build it up. This is what you do as post 5, right? And what do we take advantage of? Do you see how this guy's here? So he can't actually help him. 2v1 scenario, instantly go for the kill, slowing here, and all of a sudden, we just find the kill, right? And what happens here? Again, it's a 2v1. What does it mean? We can actually pressure this Phoenix as well, right? And now we just start running. Why do we start running? It's nighttime. I need mana to work with, instantly psyching creep, and all of a sudden, I want you to see how defensive we play. Now, I really want to mention something. That was a mistake, and my carry kind of yelled at me, right? He was actually right. Where is the extra salve? All of a sudden, I should actually have 1 salve. And with some, I went full greedy. I went full greedy. I'm like, when I was going back, I don't bring a salve for my carry. Really big mistake. Really big mistake. Getting the smokes to go back to actually assist my carry. Why not rotate? Well, the lane stage is still going on. I'm still, like, the lane is not won yet. We're still fighting. So right now I'm just coming back with no actual regen, and all of a sudden I even go for the boots. I'm like, okay, fuck it. You know what? That was super bad for me. That was actually super bad. And it's something that you should, like, even in the lower MMR bracket, if you feel like you can trust your carry, then you might as well, help him a little bit by buying a little bit more regen. And this is what I should do. I went full grid with a hero. I felt like, okay, I'm a post 5 Lion. I will just get the XP. Don't forget, minute 7, what do we do? Try to get jungle items, right? And of course now I just buy the salve, but I feel like it's just too late. Jungle items here, we just try. Never lucky. And laning stage still going on. If my Juggernaut is here and they are still coming, then I will not do that. I'm just baiting here, nothing important. And all of a sudden we have a laning stage that I feel like should have gone a little bit better. Like, net worth wise, we're just really good because we actually got a couple of kills. But I feel like we could get so much more. And of course, I feel like that was mainly because I didn't have enough regen. So I feel like that's a really good lesson. You see how we actually go for jungle items here and we get a shovel. Really good if the laning stage is still going on, right? Now that, that's the last thing that I wanna, like, mention. I want you to see how we actually gank this NS or like try to kill him, right? And I'm gonna show that from my perspective, and I want to show it from your perspective, and that's why sometimes why you need a lane ward here. So I know that he has huge night vision. That's why we try to hide and kill him. Okay, he's level 6, but that doesn't matter. And all of a sudden, I know that I have a non-slash power spike for my Juggernaut. And all of a sudden, look how I approach. I'm not being seen by the night vision. If you see that here, I'm not being seen here. You see? Like that's, I feel like that's some next level shit. And all of a sudden, I'm just going from behind, and we're just able to manage kill. Of course, before that, what do we need to know? Where the heck is Phoenix? It's not here. And if you see, he doesn't appear anywhere. The moment we actually see him, right? I think he was spawned in the mid lane. We're like, okay, we can just go for it. Coming from behind, stun. X, right? And let's go back a little bit to show one more thing. Sometimes, you know, going for level 2 stun or level 2 drain, generally in the end, it's 2-1-2 build, right? We're getting the kill, so I feel like in this game, I need a Hex to have, you know, keep the lockdown on the NS, because with the stun, just not enough. It's quite tanky hero, it's a high strength hero. So, eventually we just get the kill. What do? Get my level 6 with a Tome later on, and, you know, try to do some solo play. From now on, the laning stage is actually 1. We get to kill him. It's NS with 3k net worth. Juggernaut with 4.5k net worth. It's so beautiful. I think that's really good on how to understand the power spikes of a hero. The minute 5 was so defensive. I actually screwed things up a little bit, I want to say a lot, by not buying Assault, because I went full greedy and playing any other hero that requires mana. I would actually buy Assault. And the problem is, like with Lion, you're like, okay, if I get Tranquil Boots, I don't have mana issues, I don't have health issues, so I might as well, you know, just go get my Tranquil Boots, and I'm just self-sustained. Okay, and now, again, what do? If you're level 5, get the Tome of XP, get the smoke, try to make something happen. Okay, I think that's also really solid laning on how to approach. Before we had level 2 drain, now we have level 2 air spike, to be more aggressive before the 5-minute mark where NS is really strong. I think that's also really good as an example, and I'll see you on the example number 3. Okay, this is game number 3, and I think that's the most interesting, because the fact that you sometimes die does not actually mean, okay, a bit more light here. Okay, the fact that you just die does not mean that you lose the lane. Okay, so this is like, again, playing with the Morphling, really defensive, right? Really defensive as a hero, right? And the items are classic. Instead of the 50 gold, I actually went for the Iron Branch. Reactively using this sentry, probably that's also a mistake, right? Just because I have a Pudge, so usually Pudge loves to place a ward behind, and if you ever play with techies, they usually place it here. A little bit food for thought. And so what I do right now is, okay, I'm Lion, I'm super fast, I can contest. I'm playing a little bit on autopilot. I'm like, okay, I can just run, and that's actually a good example, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use a salve, and I'm just getting hooked because this Pudge is probably TI winner, man. I just don't know that yet. Shit happens, we start, and I actually give first blood to their position 4. We will actually face an Silencer and a Pudge. If you don't know that, range with melee support, range position 3 with melee support is super strong and super annoying. On top of that, both heroes are really good versus Morphling. Both heroes, okay? Pudge is super strong just because he hits a lot, and level 1 Morphling, you'll see, struggles a lot to disengage from Pudge. Okay, so it's a struggle to get level 2. Always remember, get level 2 faster, okay? And you see how my Morphling all of a sudden gets cooked, he almost dies. So I really need to somehow absorb some damage for him until we go level 2, level 3, right? That's why I just use all my mana all the time on the Silencer, right? The way to actually win this greedy position 3 is a Pug Necrophos is to pressure them early on, right? I need to get my level 2, like that's what I'm saying, I need to get level 2. Obviously at this point, I don't have Mango, so I'm gonna go for Mana Drain. right? And usually what do you do? Stun mana drain, again, okay? The lane is pushing, so what I want to do is do what? Pull. But at this time, pull is a luxury if you're position 1. If the position 1, you know, is in danger and he wants to fight, it is a luxury. And this is what happens right now. Look at that. He wants to fight. I'm like, I don't have enough mana to work with. So what do? I just sack mana. I'm like, okay, all of a sudden this guy's out of position. We get the kill, right? Really good kill for us. What happens right now? Instantly, 2v1. This Pudge goes for me, but he's level 1. We're both level 2. We're 2 heroes. He's 1 weak hero. So what do? I don't care. I have a Fairy Fire. I see that he has no mango, so you know, I can get away with right clicks. And what do we do right now? We have to fix the lane. Instantly. Do you see how this lane is so pushed? And so I need to somehow pull that, not like to deny anything, just to delay it until it meets under here again. That's why I get to right click it really fast. And all of a sudden, boom. Lane is fixed. Lane is actually fixed. It's beautiful. Single pull is not a bad pull. I've heard this a lot. Please, if you feel like the lane is too pushed and you need an instant fix, single pull. And just right click it fast. Okay? Now, here's where I felt like I did a mistake. I felt like, okay, I'm just gonna suck the mana away from the silencer, which it's a lot of mana, right? And like, maybe I did correct, maybe I didn't do correct. I'm not really sure yet, okay? In my mind, I felt like, okay, I just need to protect my Morphling by not having mana on the opponent, which like really solid. You can't go wrong with that. But I felt, okay, what I didn't understand that Pudge has no armor. Silencer is easily killable. So maybe if I just spam more, we can actually find kills. Anyway, a little bit food for thought. So what I did is use a stun here, do stun and mana drain, and in a couple of more attempts, they are going to be out of mana. I'm just gonna show the silencer perspective here. Best stun in history, by the way. And what do? You try to fix a creep wave. It is blocked. What can you do? Salve, of course, for my position 1. Always have a salve. The higher the MMR, the more rich you have to buy. The lower the MMR, the important thing is to actually understand if you can trust these guys or not. Okay. And now, what do you do when the lane is actually that pushed and you can't actually pull? Well, you can't really do anything. You have two options when the lane is pushed. Pull, which is not an option anymore, and do what? Play aggressive under tower. And you see how I keep sacking mana, I'm like, okay, all of a sudden, this guy is you know, that's not bad, all of a sudden. And what do we actually wait? What do we actually, and this is why lane ward is so important. I'm like, okay, Pudge is not here, Pudge, where the fuck is Pudge? I'm like, okay, he's just not in the lane, and all of a sudden, 2v1, we get some right clicks off, because position 5, I'll say that 100 times, does not kill. What you do is build up your kill potential, okay? Always build up your kill potential. I get hooked here, it happens. I actually get Sunstrike, Pog. Okay, so what do we do right now is, I think this guy dies as well. And this is where, you know, we felt like it's not going well. Even though CS-wise we're just doing great. But here's the tricky part. Just because you are confident you got the kill on the safe lane or on the off lane, doesn't mean the lane is over. Because all of a sudden, if the enemy push forward just leaves, then we can just get this silencer. Because silencer and all these range position 3s, they always need the bodyguard, the clockwork, the Trent, the Nyx, the Pudge. All these heroes are just so important, right? And look at that. All of a sudden, he just plays super greedy, and we just punish this guy. Great kill. Pudge is just too late right now, and I have nothing better to do than to just single pull. I also don't like this camp, so I'm like, fuck it. You know what? Just kill it really fast. Now, this guy is alone again. Just because Pudge is in the backline means absolutely nothing. You need to be in front of the position 3 if it is range, not back, right? Right? So what do? The plan is always the same. And look at that. You see how we get a really good trade? Where is Pudge? Behind. If you're a Pudge player, or if you see that, or if you're a clocker and you're staying behind the position 3, you're doing something wrong. Pudge should be like this way, and that should be like this way to dodge him, right? Food for thought again. And of course, like we just miss the stand here. What do I do right now? We need to fix the lane. How do we do that? Is actually if we pull, right? So pulling here, and also 8 minutes in, jungle items, right? Getting mana to work with, and now what do we do? I should, and that's like probably my mistake, have a lane word here to see what's going on. I can't recall if I placed one and got dewarded. Of course, solve for my Morphling. And then what do? We just want to see where he spots and to see if we can actually kill him. And you see how aggressive he just plays? Hex, all of a sudden, we kill him, and what does this mean for us? And I really want you to see that. Do you see how I just hide my level 6? And all of a sudden, what do? Like, this is why Lion, let's say, compared to Crystal Maiden, can do more solo plays. All of a sudden, I just don't show my level 6, keep it to the top lane, find the kill, right? I was actually screaming here, you know, use the freaking arena. We just kill him. Beautiful. And all of a sudden, 10 minutes in, you see the net worth 2.1k, 2.1k, 2k, 3.6k in a lane that we're not supposed to be that good, right? And I think I can't recall if that was an easy win, but definitely a one lane, definitely a lane that didn't start well, a lane that I fed. You know, I think I died 2 times. I can't actually recall, maybe 3 times. 2 times, one on the first blood and one from the Sunstrike. And all of a sudden, it doesn't matter. We punished the two, like with a 2v1 scenario, and most importantly, my Morphling, a hero that's supposed to, you know, do well in the mid game, and he's not that strong in the lane stage, all of a sudden has a really good start. And well, that's how you actually indirectly carry the game. You give your post 1 the best possible conditions to carry you later in the game, and in the mid game you play with the heroes like the post 3, post 2 to actually keep creating space for your position 1. That's a guide. Hopefully you learn a lot. I know that in this channel I don't go into the mid game, at least not for now, so I really want to emphasize on the laning stage. I think people just don't understand how to play the fundamentals, when to trade, when not to trade, when to dodge, who has the upper hand, level 2 power spikes, and so on. So if you do like that, please not even subscribe, just type, you know, 1 question mark below. It's gonna help me a lot to know that, you know, more people actually watch that. Hopefully you enjoy that. GG, and I'll see you on the next video.